into 5 realtor strategies that as a mortgage coach, you could go from price, and if you are just delivering rate quotes and price, you're not going to be able to implement these 5 strategies. And let's have Danny walk through how he's delivering advice and education, how he's being the expert with realtors. And so Danny, let's just go through them, talk high level. I'll show some screenshots, try to follow along. But let's start with your initial consultation and how that gets you more realtor referrals.
So first off, I just want to talk just super high level about the purpose of these presentations and what we're sharing with the realtors. So it's a little bit different than a normal total cost analysis conversation, because when you're having a normal TCA presentation, you're dealing with the client who is very interested in that advice portion, and so they want to get some context to their decision. And our goal with them is to try to focus their choice in something that they can control and understand, and move them from kind of an emotional, fear-based decision-making process, which doesn't often result in action, and over to kind of a confident, informed decision that would normally come from being really well educated about the process. So the realtors don't need that. When we're in this meeting with them, what we're trying to demonstrate is that we have the ability to take their clients from that moment of indecision to a moment of confident decision making. Because the last thing the realtor wants is somebody that's kind of halfway in the game of buying a house. They want somebody that's committed, that's going to take action that's appropriate to the market, and then that's what's going to help them sell that house or move that buyer into a new house. So when we're sharing these initial consults and the other strategies, we're showing or demonstrating some of the possibilities of what their clients can expect from us. And then the goal is for them to say, wow, I really want my clients to have this information because it is going to move the needle. So when we show them the initial conversation, the initial consultation, the goal of this one is to say, this is the baseline that every one of your clients is going to experience. When we are in the pre-approval phase, and then again when they get into contract, we're going to share with them a very detailed presentation that shows them, one, what their capabilities are, or what the total cost of what they've asked us to pre-approve them for are. And then in a lot of other cases, we'll also take them to, here's what would happen if you bought 20,000 up or 40,000 up, or what some of the other strategies that we'll see going forward is, this is what would happen if the market changed in terms of rate 0.25%, and what we can expect from that. And that consultation with the client, as we know, or the people on this call probably know from doing a lot of these total cost analysis conversations, the result of that is often a client that says, wow, I've never been more informed about the loan process before. I've never understood it better, and I've never felt better about it. And that's what we're always getting to, is that feeling where they now have the power to take control of their own destiny because they understand what the choices are and how those choices are going to affect them.
So Danny,
we talk about one last thought there is that the communication to the realtor is, we want your client to leap off the fence. We do not want them to just get off the fence. We want them to jump into the market and be very excited about the opportunity.
Got it. So I want to pull 2 scripts out of you at this point. One is, I want everybody to get more leads from their current realtor relationship. So I want to know, how do you train your realtors to refer you? So what does a realtor say to one of their buyers when they refer them to your team? But before you answer that, and I really want to try to net that out like a 1-minute script that we could literally edit and say, here's a 1-minute script from you guys. But what is the 1-minute script when you show a realtor a mortgage coach report for the first time? What's that 1 minute to 90-second, how do you frame it? What do you say before you show it to them in a way that's valuable to them?
So one of the things that we approach it, we just hit hit their concerns head on. And one of the things that we've learned from interviewing realtors that we work with that they're most concerned about is the fact that a referral to a loan officer is kind of a black box. They send the name and number, and they just have to trust at that point that that person's going to be taken care of. And they've now kind of hitched their wagon up to ours, and if we fail them or embarrass them, or embarrass ourselves, that then reflects back on the agent. And sometimes that's a pretty big hurdle to try to overcome. The fact that they have that concern that we're not going to follow through or take care of their client in the appropriate way. So when we introduce the mortgage coach, it's you're probably thinking, or you're probably wondering, hey, what is it going to be like when you refer a client over to us? Well, let us show you what this looks like. And we present to them our service level commitments in terms of answering our phone, responding to emails, how we're going to move the client from initial conversation to pre-approval and kind of get that all together. And then we say, but once we have them in that pre-approved stage, here's how we communicate with them about what they can accomplish. And one of the other things that this tool is that allows us to do is create new opportunities and new ways of thinking about the process. So in that initial consultation phase, so that's how we would introduce it. And then we would show them the initial consultation or one of our presentations, kind of a generic one, and say, this is the tool that we use, and we'll bring an iPad. The last meeting that I went to at a Keller Williams office just up the street from ours, we brought an iPad and the laptop and let them actually interact with the total cost analysis right there while we were talking with them, and said, this is what your customer is going to experience. And imagine a situation where you have somebody that is really resistant to the idea of paying mortgage insurance. They've shared that with you. Well, what we can do is take that very kind of nebulous concern that they have that really probably isn't well defined in their mind, or why they just have that feeling because either somebody told them to feel that way or they read it on the internet somewhere, and we can take that and turn it into actual information that they can interact with in a way that they understand, and take that feeling and turn it into something that's a little bit more competent.
Beautiful. So I think we got the talking points and the scripting there. What about, I've heard different, loan officers who train the realtor to say, hey, you need to work with my loan officer because they're going to give you a total cost analysis and show you how you can save, tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. What do you want your realtors to say? And again, around as a mortgage coach, because I have a lot of mortgage coach loan officers that say, hey, my realtors don't care about that. They don't care about how I deliver numbers. They don't care about mortgage coach. All they care about is that I close the loan on time and I keep my promises. Well, and I always tell them, well, we agree on that. They do care that you close loans on time and you keep your promises. But you know what? They do care about how you deliver advice. And I think you guys have proven that because you use this as an essential tool with realtors. So what does a realtor say from a mortgage coach perspective that helps when they refer someone to you? It's a better referral, and you're getting more of those referrals. What would you say to that?
We actually have agents that ask us to build mortgage coaches for them in the process of introducing us to the client. So they'll have the total cost analysis with a video be the introduction to the client. So they'll give us their loose search parameters and say, you know what, I really want to send you this guy, but he's a engineer at Qualcomm and he's super detail oriented, and it's really hard for me to try to break that shell. So I really think if you send me an edge presentation with a video, that's going to break the ice and allow me to really move him over to you guys. But ultimately, what we want our realtors to say is that basically tell the client they must use us. Basically, that in order for them to work with that client and it to be a good use of their time, that they've already gone through our pre-approval process, which includes that total cost analysis consultation, because that, in their experience, having worked with us for a period of time, that's the best possible way for them to get that person to buy a house.
Love it. All right, so number one, go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I mean, we're always working under the pretense, and we tell the agents this, that, almost always inaction is caused from a lack of knowledge or a lack of understanding of what, of the buying process. So we know if we fill that void, we're going to get people to take more action. So that's kind of how you can get over, well, I don't really care about this stuff. I just need you to close loans on time. But if you can get to the deeper level and say, yeah, but if I can get more qualified people to you that are willing to take action, would you agree that that's important? I just think that, there's a lot of agents out there that do tell their loan officers, hey, listen, I'm giving you and 2 other loan officers to this client, you know, good luck, may the best man win. That's kind of a tough place to be, as everyone knows. I mean, it's not fun to literally be, you know, having somebody that's talking to all 3 of you and getting all confused by 3 of you. So one of the things we'll tell people, especially, and it's easy when you have some really good, what we call channel accounts, where they're just, they give us, they only give us, and they confidently refer us. And as long as it's somebody that's open to, you know, professional advice and stuff, you just say, hey, listen, I just want to let you know that the realtors that we work with that close the most loans, they don't give 3 people to their clients. And the reason they don't is because it sets the tone that you're not really quite sure about this process, and you're kind of letting them decide what's best for them when you do this every day and you do know who's best out in the marketplace. So if they want to start asking questions about that and, well, you know, which agents, you know, no problem, we can start naming them. And that's usually a way to try and teach them that giving 3, even though they're taught to do that, in my opinion, is not a good way to go. It causes more confusion, it causes more inaction, and you got to kind of get that across to the agent in your own way.
Well, a couple things I pulled from the way you answered that. One, you're a leader, you know, and you're not afraid to have some constructive tension with a realtor around, you know, well, that's great, but, and you're teaching them, you're educating them, and you're evangelizing around something that you believe, you know, and let's face it, you have built systems, processes, and you execute in a way that is truly valuable. You know that, you believe that, so you're able to communicate that. So folks, you know, I think hopefully you got some scripting and some confidence that when you do get that push from the realtor, you've got something to say and you know where to drive that.